That gave the Patriots a lead they would not relinquish. They had 6 sacks, 2 takeaways, and 14 points off turnovers last night. They're now top 5 across the board in all 3 of those categories, and that defense is a big reason why the Patriots find themselves in the final AFC playoff spot. Now, the team that has the best chance, we think, of getting to the Super Bowl this year, however, is the Philadelphia Eagles. They also have the best scoring margin in the sport. And so that's how Sneaky Hembo works his way toward today's question. Which Super Bowl champion had the highest scoring margin season that, I didn't know that, most points scored and fewest allowed, the difference between those two?
It's a scale, sure, yeah, I got it.
The highest scoring margin the season they won it.
Yeah, it's a tough way. Dominique says it's got to be a team that won a lot of games. I'm not guessing the 07 or 2011 Giants.
Right,
I think they were actually outscored. But yeah, a lot of teams, 14 win teams, 15 win teams. I settled on the greatest show on Turf Rams from 1999. That was my guess. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
that is correct.
This is over, right?
Like, here comes Dominique with a slam dunk on him. Neek thought it was...
4 is big.
Neek thought it was the 85 Bears. I thought it was the 85 Bears. They're third. The 91 Washington Super Bowl champions are second, which we heard that name out here, but it was the greatest show on Turf Rams who are the top of that list. And right now, again, it is Graziano.
Come on, how many shows am I even on the rest of the year?
Not enough for him to come back.
I think it's a wrap.
That is a win on the 22 season for Graziano. In the meantime, will the Eagles wind up adding their name to that list? That's the question. They've been thoroughly dominant this season. They have the highest point differential in the NFL.
I gotta do. I think they're recording the video. I gotta get something
per game. Their dominant defense has them near the top in the NFL in yards per play, passing yards per game, interception percentage, sack rate, defensive efficiency. And with a 2-game lead, ESPN Analytics has them as the overwhelming favorite to get the all-important 1 seed in the NFC. They have an 87% chance to get that. And so the question then becomes, what are the chances that they wind up winning the conference and winning the championship? Well, Caesars has Philly as the likeliest team from the NFC, but second overall to the favorites, which is the Buffalo Bills. And so it presents the question that I'm usually hesitant to ask, because I think that the answer is usually too obvious, but I have been forewarned that it's going to go the other way. If I'm offering you the Eagles or the field to win the Super Bowl, I've got 2 people here, Neek and Marcus, our 2 players, telling us you would go Eagles over the field to win the Super Bowl. Why?
We got to be honest about what we're seeing. I think that a lot of us are carrying around some confirmation bias about Jalen Hurts and pretending as if this team has not separated themselves from the rest of the league. And I understand that you can be critical of the teams that they play, but that's not up to them. It's not like they're struggling to get past these teams. They are beating the dog out of these teams. So I have to be honest with what I see week in and week out. A team that does not have a weakness. The one thing that people present as a weakness is their inability to stop the run, which actually doesn't seem to be a big problem in the modern NFL and not a problem for them anymore. Their quarterback can win in a bunch of different ways. Their defense is flexible. That secondary has been amazing this year. So I think we have to be honest about how good they are and how they've separated themselves from the pack.
Fair. Marcus, Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Dallas, San Francisco. You like the Eagles better than you like all those teams combined is essentially what this was saying as far as winning the Super Bowl is concerned. You're going Eagles over the field.
Yeah, G, I think they're more complete. When you look at both sides of the ball, and the most important thing, offensive line, it's traveled week in and week out, and I've seen this team win different ways as well. I've seen them win with Jalen Hurts' legs. I've seen them win with Miles Sanders' legs. I've seen them win pushing the ball downfield and then defensively creating turnovers and shutting people out and taking away teams' best players. So there is nothing about the Philadelphia Eagles that I have seen that doesn't tell me, especially in the NFC. But overall, I think they've been the most consistent performers. But I think the thing that stands out the most to me is the fact that they're this good offensively, especially with an offensive line. Because if you have to turn it into a ground and pound, they can do it. If you got to turn it into a shootout, they can play with you that way. So we look at a lot of teams and we think about the greatness. And obviously on the AFC side, you got Pat Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, you got prolific quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, guys that are playing at the elite level. But when you go throughout the deep heart of a football team, I think Philly right now is the most complete.
Mike T.
I'm shocked these guys did that. I mean, 5 minutes ago, Brock Purdy was a combination of Joe Montana and Steve Young. So I'm going to go with logic here, and somebody's going to stop them. I mean, we saw Washington do it. Look, they play Chicago this week. I'm not saying Chicago is going to beat them, but they're going to test their run defense. So just given the rigors of the playoffs and all those teams that you just listed, someone's going to beat them.
Yeah, it's just about probability, right? Like if you said, who do you like the most to win the Super Bowl, I might well say the Eagles.
But would you definitely even say that?
Probably.
Right
but
now, Eagles are playing Cincinnati and Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. I know it's not the question, but I'm expanding the reach of the question.
Yeah, because I think it's possible they'll have had the easier road to get there, right? Like they had to buy only 2 games to win to get there. That matters. But neither one of the 1 seeds last year was in the Super Bowl. I was in Green Bay watching the 49ers block a punt and knock Aaron Rodgers and the Packers out. Weird stuff happens in the playoffs. If you're taking the question literally and you're saying, do I want the field or I want the Eagles? Eagles are that's a
I like the
bet.
Bills, I like the Chiefs, I like the Bengals, and I still think that they're going to run into some trouble in the NFC. This is not the easy path that people are making.
It's winning a Super Bowl. It's definitely not an easy path. I don't think anybody's making it sound like it is an easy path. It'll be tough. They have an easier path than the AFC side. They'll get there and be potentially healthier, potentially less tested. And also, they've been good all season long.
2
Like,
weeks
this
off.
This has been impressive. Like, you have to give them the credit that they've earned.
Well, see what happens. No one's taking away what they've done so far, but this is looking forward. We'll see what they've got. Meanwhile, looking forward to tomorrow night. We have a Wednesday NBA doubleheader. 2 old rivals scoring off. Bulls-Knicks early. Then you got Kawhi and Paul George and the Clippers hosting the Timberwolves. Coverage tips off with NBA Countdown, 7 Eastern on ESPN. As we roll on, First Take takes over top of the hour. Will the Patriots make the playoffs? And where are the Cowboys on Stephen A's list today? First Take with that and more, top of the hour, right here on ESPN.
Texas.
Research shows people remember commercials with